I promised you a cheesy video about recursive functions, so a cheesy video you're going to get. Imagine I have a list of numbers, and I want to sort them from lowest to highest. There are a number of ways that I could do that, but one way is to use a bubble sort and implement that bubble sort using a recursive function. So what I'm going to do is pretend that I'm the main function, and I'm going to pass this list to a recursive function. We'll call it sort. Now notice what will happen. I pass a list of 5 elements to the recursive function sort. It's going to do a little manipulation on those elements and keep one. It's going to call another instance of the function sort, but with only 4 items. That function will do the same thing, except with 4 items. Keep 1 item, call sort again, but this time with only 3 items. So the list is getting smaller and smaller and smaller as we go along. The other thing that's happening that I want you to notice is that the very first call of the recursive function is going to find and keep the largest number. The second call is going to find and keep the second largest number, and so on and so on and so on. So the last call of the recursive function is going to hold the smallest number, and the second to last call is going to have the second smallest number, and so on. When we get to the very end, which we call the base case, the recursive function called the last time realizes that it only has one number. It says, well, I'm done. So it takes that number and passes it back to its calling function. The calling function will then append the number that it held on to, which is the second smallest number, and return that list of 2 numbers to its calling function. That sounds a little confusing, but let's see it in actions. Now remember, I'm the main function, and I'm going to call the function sort, a recursive function. You're going to be able to tell that function because it has a cool hat that it got from Cuba. So I'll take this list and I'll call the function sort. Sort, here's your list. Thank you. First, I'll notice that there is more than one item in my list. I look at the first item and the second item. The first item is larger than the second item, so I flip them. I look at the second item and the third item. The second item is larger than the third item, so I flip them. I look at the third item and the fourth item. The third item is larger than the fourth item, so I flip them. I look at the fourth item and the fifth item. The fourth item is larger than the fifth item, so I flip them. I'm done. I'll hold on to this and call the function sort with a list of 4 items. Sort. Thank you. I have a list of more than one item. I look at the first item and the second item. The first item is bigger than the second item, so I flip them. I look at the second item and the third item. The second item is bigger than the third item, so I flip them. I look at the third item and the fourth item. The third item is not bigger than the fourth item, so I'm done. I keep the fourth item, and the remaining list of 3 items I pass on to the function sort. Sort. Thank you. I see I have a list of more than one item. I look at the first item and the second item. The first item is bigger than the second item, so I flip them. I look at the second item and the third item. The second item is not bigger than the third item, so I don't flip them. I'm done, so I keep the third item and pass this list of 2 items onto the function sort. Sort. Thank you. I see I have a list of more than one item. The first item is not bigger than the second item, so I don't flip them. I keep this item, and I pass this list of 1 item onto the function sort. Sort. Thank you. I see I have a list of 1 item. That's my base case. I don't have to do anything. I pass this on to the calling function. Thank you for that list. I'm going to add my item onto the list and pass this 2-item list back to the calling function. Thank you for that list. I'm going to add my item onto this list and pass this 3-item list to my calling function. Thank you for that list. I'm going to take my item and add it onto this list and then pass this 4-item list back to the calling function. Thank you for that list. I'm going to take my item and add it to this list and pass the 5-item list back to the calling function. Thank you. Remember me? I'm Maine. So I got a nice list of 5 items and notice that they're sorted in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's review what happened. As each function was called, it did its swapping algorithm. And the functions were able to pull off 5, 4, 3, 2 in order, leaving just 1. As they collapsed back to main, they added 2, 3, 4, and 5, and now the sort is complete.